International players are taking over the NBA. Thanks to Giannis and Jokic, there hasn't been an American-born MVP in the past 4 seasons. And thanks to Luka, there is a very good chance that will be pushed to 5 seasons. The number of international players in the league currently is over 100. And with more global attention on the sport, everyone seems to be looking out for the next foreign player who will come into the NBA and dominate. So in this video, I want to introduce you to the guy who I think will be the NBA's next international superstar. Meet Victor Wembanyama, a 7'5" center who has the mobility of a guard and can protect the rim like Rudy Gobert. Obviously, I'm joking. Let me introduce you to Aday Mara, a 7'3", 17-year-old who has the potential to be the #1 overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. I know this might be the first time you're ever hearing of this kid, so I wanted to give a little background on him. Aday was born on April 7th, 2005 in Zaragoza, Spain. Competitiveness is something that was instilled in him ever since he was a child because both of his parents are former athletes. His father, Francisco, was a former pro basketball player, and his mother, Jaylee, was one of the best volleyball players in Spain. Coming from parents with an athletic background, Aday learned how to play like a pro at a very young age, and his professional career to this date is proof of that. In October of 2021, Aday made his professional debut for Levitic Huesca in the LEB Oral League. At just 16 years old, Aday didn't have a mind-blowing stat line during his first pro season, but his advanced game helped show the world his massive potential. What really makes me believe he'll be the NBA's next international star, though, is his tremendous success in the 2022 U17 World Cup. In just 18 minutes played a game, Aday averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks on 71% shooting. To give you a better understanding of him as a player, let's break down his highlights from the World Cup. Aday's 7'3" height alone makes him a top prospect in the 2024 draft. His length, advanced footwork, and soft touch around the rim allows him to be a dominant interior player on the offensive end. He has a deep bag of low post moves and is comfortable using either hand when finishing. And you might have guessed it, Aday is also a lob threat who excels in the pick and roll. He also has a major impact on the defensive end. Aday is a great rebounder and blocks just about every shot attempted on him inside. Now, most 7-footers are uncoordinated and not very mobile, but Aday surprised me in this regard. He isn't a super mobile player, but his all-around movement on the court is not awkward or slow by any means. Taking his age into consideration, I think Aday will become quicker on his feet as he continues to grow into his body. Besides being a dominant inside scorer, Aday has shown promise in the mid-range area. He has a smooth-looking jumper and will knock down the midi whenever he is given too much separation. But the thing that really separates Aday from the other bigs in the 2024 draft is his elite passing ability and natural feel for the game. Aday will be one of the best passing big men in the NBA the second he enters the league. He can dish the rock from anywhere on the court, whether that be an outlet pass off of a rebound, a kick out of the high post, or finding the backdoor cutter at the top of the key. Aday plays the game at his own pace and is great at knowing where the open guy will be at all times. Take a look at this play when he gets the ball at the top of the key. He knows exactly what's unfolding and perfectly times the backdoor cut by his teammate. This play is another prime example of his impeccable timing. Just an absolute dime to the wide open cutter. And when you pair his elite passing ability with the natural feel he has for the game, you realize just how dangerous Aday is on offense. He will oftentimes take a moment to analyze the possession at hand and is very calculated with everything he does. Aday is never rushed and plays the game calm and poised. Hopefully, I just made it clear that there are a lot of positives in his game. So what are his negatives? For one, Aday isn't the best defender on the perimeter. His role on the defensive end is strictly in the paint, a big reason for this being he has difficulty guarding quicker players. Another area he could use some improvement in is his shooting. While Aday shows some promise in the mid-range area, he just doesn't have a three-point jumper at all right now. He is capable of knocking down the shot and actually has solid mechanics, but just isn't confident from behind the arc. The last thing I will mention in this regard is that I have seen multiple people critique his athleticism and mobility, but personally, I think he moves very well for a 7'3", 17-year-old. And while he isn't super athletic, I don't think he's lacking in the area either. So after diving deep into Aday Mara's game, can I confidently say he has real potential of being a #1 overall pick? Yes, I 100% can. Aday is following the trend of giant players who possess a super advanced game at a young age. At just 17 years old, he is already good enough to be playing in the top-tier professional league in Spain. There are still 2 seasons left before he becomes draft eligible, and I think we will see a major player improvement out of him when he starts to receive more minutes. And if Aday Mara does end up transforming into an NBA superstar, I told you so. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the one we did on Amen and Asar Thompson, because because they are the most slept on players in the 2023 draft. A set of identical twins who are looking like generational talents. Thank you all for the constant support. I will see you in the next one.